So in this tutorial, I'm going to be showing you how to master your songs and make them super loud. So the first thing that we're going to want to do is import the audio. So this is the audio that we're going to be working with today. And we're just going to add it to the clip list. And now we're going to hit Shift Command N to make a new audio track. And we're going to label this mastering track. Okay. Awesome. And so now we're going to swiftly add our audio. And now let's also route our audio. So we're going to send it to a new aux track. And we're going to say this is master, or just we'll call it chain for right now. And this is what we are going to use for mastering our track. So let's just have a listen.
Out at 6 a.m. but I still gotta work at 12 to pay.
Alright, cool. So the first thing that we're going to do here is we're just going to pull up WLM meter plus, just so that we can get a LUFS reading and see where we're at before we do any gain scaling.
On in the candle boat, then I know I deserve more, but right now I just need a vacation. I let my employer know I need 2 months to reload. It's been 3 years since I've seen my...
Okay, so it's at a really good volume right now. It's pretty much the target volume that we're going to go for. But so what we're going to do is we're going to turn it down a little bit and see if this gives us some good headroom. Okay, so what we're going to do is we are going to open up this right now and we're going to just check.
Thoughts make no sense. I've been burning the candle boat, then I know I deserve more, but right now I just need a vacation.
Okay, cool. So we are at -18, so we do have some headroom now. So the first thing that we're going to do is we're going to just add a little bit of a saturation chain on here. We're going to add some board harmonics, then we're going to add some low end and a little bit of top end air. So we use this. This adds, it's a board sound.
Clocking out at 6 a.m. but I still gotta work at 12 to pay rent. My eyes are low, thoughts make no sense. I've been burning the candle boat, then I know I deserve more, but right now I just need a vacation. I let my employer know I need 2 months to reload. It's been 3 years since I've seen my friends and family.
Okay, and so what that just did is it just adds a little bit of flavor to the song itself, and it just it gives it a little bit more oomph. And so what we want to do now is we just want to take care of any of those overlapping resonance. So we're not trying to take a lot out, we're just trying to take out the stuff that's overlapping, like the instruments and the vocals.
Out at 6 a.m. but I still gotta work at 12 to pay rent. My eyes are low, thoughts make no sense. I've been burning the candle boat, then I know I deserve more, but right now I just need a vacation. I let my employer know I need 2 months to reload. It's been 3 years since I've seen my friends and family.
Okay, great. So it's very slow. We don't really want to do a lot right there. That is purely just to like clean it up a little bit. And so now we're going to do a little bit of a bigger cleanup with the Pro Q3 and just
still gotta work at 12 to pay rent. My eyes are low, thoughts make no sense. I've been burning, but right now I just need a vacation. I let my employer know I need 2 months to reload. It's been 3 years since I've seen my friends and family. Vermont, New York, I'm excited to come home. Boys and just chill out. And when I landed, it didn't go as how I planned it. Cause I had a good year, it fed my ego, and I went manic, starting a movement.
Okay, that sounds pretty good. Alright, so now what we're going to do is we're going to add some bus compression, and we're going to use 2 out of the 3 in this rack. And so the first technique we're going to do is just a very simple like glue compressor, and then this is going to be our parallel compressor, and we're not going to use this right now. So we're going to do an auto release and a slow attack, and we're going to use the slightest threshold that, or ratio that we can, and We're also going to high pass the 808 because we don't want to compress the low end. If you compress the low end, it will create pumping, so you have to know when to do that. In this track, we don't have to. We just want everything right around 100 hertz.
Clocking out at 6 a.m., but I still gotta work at 12 to pay rent. My eyes are low.
Awesome, and we don't really want to do a lot. It's just a very slight compression move. And so what we're going to do here is we're going to drive this all the way up. We're going to use a very intense ratio and a super fast attack and a super fast release. You can dial these in a little bit more, but because we're going to be using such a small amount of this compressor, it doesn't matter too much.
Clocking out at 6 a.m., but I still gotta work at 12 to pay rent. My eyes are low, thoughts make no sense. I've been burning the candle at both ends. I know I deserve more.
So this kind of just brought the drums to the front, which is super important. And now what we're going to do is we're going to do a little bit of a dual saturation chain. We're going to just split these up right here. So what I'm going to do here is I'm just going to bring this up a little bit. And, you know, we might not use the other two bands, but so we're going to switch this to subtle tube, drive it up, and then we're going to bring the mix down and see how we sound when we bring it in.
Clocking out at 6 a.m., but I still gotta work at 12 to pay rent. My eyes are low, thoughts make no sense. I've been burning.
Awesome, and that just brings like the like drum kit sound, like the low end of the drum kit sound to life. Again, even if I turn all this stuff off, it's not going to sound like we've done a whole lot, but we're just getting ready to do more of the heavy lifting with the, you know, volume change, and we want to make sure that when we do that volume change, the whole track survives it. So this is part of survival right now.
Out at 6 a.m., but I still gotta work at 12 to pay rent. My eyes are low, thoughts make no sense. I've been burning the candle at both ends.
Great. All right. Awesome. It sounds really good, and we are getting some loudness from it, and we're cleaning it up a little bit, which is exactly what I was hoping to hear. And now we're going to use Black Box. This is going to be one of our volume units that we use to increase the volume. And you can really do whatever you want with this. It's pretty much always going to sound good, but it's also going to increase the volume significantly, so just beware of that.
Been burning the candle at both ends. I know I deserve more, but right now I just need a vacation. I let my employer know I need 2 months to reload. It's been 3 years since I've seen my friends and family from New York. I'm excited to come home. We were the boys and just chill out.
And even though we added a lot of loudness and it sounded great, I drove back the mix knob on it because you want everything to survive. As you slowly bring levels up, you want to preserve the levels, but you also want to make it louder, and you do that by just using everything till it starts to really corrupt the music itself. So we're pretty decently far along. We're going to start to go into our mid-side EQ, and the mid-side EQ is so critical, especially this one, just because it has a few extra knobs. Like, for instance, it has this mono maker, and you want everything below, like, 100 hertz. Like, it changes a little bit. You could say 60 hertz, but it doesn't really matter. You just want the low end to be mono, and we can also do a little bit of widening right here. So we're just going to do a little bit of widening right there, and then we're going to start doing some of our key moves.
More, but right now I just need a vacation. I live my it's my friends and family from New York. I'm excited to come home. We were the boys and just chill out. And cause I had a good year, it fed my ego, and I went manic, starting a movement that's also what I deserve more, but right now I just need a vacation.
Awesome, and that sounds really good. That did a lot. We widened the song, we monoed the low end. I added a little bit more of the drums in the sides and the higher mids, and that's creating a lot of volume next to the vocal, but the vocal itself isn't being taken away. We just added stuff on the sides, so that's really, really good. What we're going to do now is we're going to add a little bit of sub filter, and be careful with this because you can pretty much just ruin all of your headroom right away. So we're just going to pull tight edge down. We're gonna honestly, we'll just keep it in the middle for right now, and we're just gonna turn this on and see if we can get a good low end resonance from this.
But I still gotta work at 12 to pay rent. My eyes are low, thoughts make no sense. I've been burning the candle at both ends. I know I deserve more, but right now I just need a vacation. I let my employer know.
Awesome. And you know what that does is it just brings the sub out in the headphones, and it sounds really good. You want to be very careful with this because it's not really a tool that you should use very freely, because you can kind of just, you can ruin a lot of stuff with it, and it can just take away from your song, especially in the car test. Like, you might just hear low end, and at like a live show, you might just not hear the rest of the song. You might just hear this like crude low end, and it doesn't even have like a transient. It just sounds funky, and it just makes you sound like you suck. So just be careful with that. The rest of the frequencies are important too. And it's always great to use that when you have stems. But so what we're going to do now is we're going to use a maximizer, and this is going to be like our final push to getting volume. This is where most of the volume is going to come from. You can use whatever maximizer you want. You want to use a maximizer instead of a limiter, because the maximizer actually turns it up. A limiter just limits it, and you want to use a limiter once it's already loud, just to prevent it from going over like negative, or I mean 0 dBs, because then it is clipping. This is just a really great way to not have that happen. But you know what, actually, I've just recently decided that I want to put tape on this, like tape saturation, just to give it, you know, a little bit more of an expensive feel, a little bit more of an analog feel, you know, just more vibe. And the vibe that you get from it is it just sounds like it was recorded just a little bit nicer than it probably was. Or you can just add a lot of stuff to it, you know. It's pretty cool. So we're gonna add a little bit of vintage tape. We're gonna put the maximizer after it. We're gonna go to the tape first, and let's just see what we can come up with.
Clocking out at 6 a.m., but I still gotta work at 12 to pay rent. My eyes are low, thoughts make no sense. I've been burning the candle at both ends. I know I deserve more, but right now I just need a vacation. I live employer know I need 2 months to be low. It's been 3 years since I've seen my friends and family from New York. I'm excited to come home. We were the boys and just chill out. And when I landed, it didn't go as how I planned it. Cause I had a good year, it fed my ego, and I went manic. Starting a movement, that's also a label, that's also a brand. I was so stupid for spending my only month in Vermont, promoting my vision and plans. I leave for New York in the morning, and I can't relax cause I'm anxious and stressed. Losing control. Why do I lose control?
All right, cool. So you see how this says -9 and it's flashing? That's just because on the full reset. What we're actually seeing here is long-term -14, and then we have short-term peaks that are a little bit louder. Like if I was mastering for like a label and they really needed it to be precise, what I'd do is I'd just have it at -14 short-term and -14 long-term. But since we're artists and fans like loud music, we're gonna keep long-term at -14, so it does well, of course. And then we're gonna have more transient sounds peak a little bit louder. Just to give it that, you know, Mike Dean, Travis Scott kind of just, holy crap, this is loud, but it's also still very quality sound. And that's pretty much how you master it, but just keep in mind, we're also, like, this is where you limit. See, you just want to pull it down just like that. You don't want to use the threshold, and this is truly just limiting the sound, making sure that the output ceiling is not hitting over a certain number. And so this is what we have. Okay, let's just give it a quick play, turning on and off.
I just need a vacation. I let my employer know I need 2 months to be low. It's been 3 years since I've seen my friends and family from New York. I'm excited to come home. We were the boys and just chill out. And when I landed, it didn't go as how I planned it. Cause I had a good year, it fed my ego, and I went manic. Starting a movement, that's also a label, that's also a brand.
Yeah, I mean, that sounds pretty freaking darn good if I say so myself. There's a billion different ways that you can master music, but it's really important that you focus on how you saturate the sound, how you deal with overlapping transients, how you EQ to bring more room into the curve, and how you push stuff to put it into the curve. It's really important to consider, how you stage your like saturation. It's really important to how you compress. For a very long time, I thought glue compression just sounded really bad, but it does have its place in mastering, and you should know how to use it. And a lot of the times, you're going to be having a slow attack and a fast release, and you just barely want to tap it to make it sound good. And you really do want to focus on mid-side EQ and mastering, because it really does a lot, and you can learn how to widen in mono and bring parts out that need loudness to create space where there wasn't space before, and also create a better effect for the artist. Like, they love wide music. Like, you always make people happy if it's wide, but not super wide, because then people are like, the song fell apart, unless you know what you're doing. In that case, all power to you. But lastly, after you do all that, you'll be ready to turn the song up. You can just completely maximize it and use tape, whatever you want, and it'll sound like a loud song. And then you want to just limit it at the end. It's important to limit. But so let's say we skipped all this and we just went straight to maximizing, and we went to limiting. Let's actually just turn everything off. It should just sound like you didn't do a lot of stuff. I mean, it'll sound good. If the mix is good, like, it'll sound great, but just to give you some perspective, like, this is what it'll sound like.
Burning the candle at both ends. I know I deserve more, but right now I just need a vacation. I let my employer know I need.
See? All right, hold on. This is actually really interesting, because the maximizer appears to add loudness when a whole chain is on, but when it's off, it doesn't really appear to add that much loudness at all.
My eyes are low, thoughts make no sense. I've been burning the candle at both ends. I know I deserve more, but right now.
See, that's a very small impact, opposed to when you do all the steps. This is what happens.
In the candle at both ends. I know I deserve more.
Wow.
But right now I just need a vacation.
So that's how you make music sound loud, and it's also how you take the proper steps to get there. And it's really important that you don't just slap on a limiter unless you're like, that guy. So unless you're that guy, I highly recommend coming up with your own version of these steps. Like, I can interchange a lot of these different things and still get to the same place. But that's because I understand how to saturate, I understand how to compress, and how to EQ in the mastering stage to preserve dynamics, create space, delete space, fill back that space, and then maximize it. And that'll get you to where you need to go 9 times out of 10. Thank you. If you got value from this video, please subscribe for more videos like this. And if you have questions, hit my comments. I will get back to you. Thank you. Deuces.